Most people think money problems are about not earning enough. History tells a very different story. In ancient civilizations, there were no banks, no credit cards, no financial influencers. Yet some societies managed money better than we do today. Not because they were richer, but because they followed a rule we quietly abandoned. This wasn't a complicated system. It didn't promise freedom or luxury. In fact, most people wouldn't even like it today. And the problem wasn't money. The problem was human behavior. For ancient societies, money was not a reward. It was a responsibility. Today, we treat money as identity. Back then, it was treated as control. Not control over people. Control over yourself. In ancient Rome, before its decline, citizens had a concept they called pecunia. It literally meant wealth, but it came from pecus, meaning cattle. Money wasn't abstract. It represented something you could see, touch, count. Something that required care and attention every single day. When money was tangible, people couldn't pretend it didn't exist. They couldn't swipe away a purchase and forget about it 3 minutes later. Every transaction was physical. Every loss was visible. There's something we do now that ancient people would consider completely insane. We spend money we don't have on things we don't need to impress people we don't know. They didn't have that option, not because the system prevented it, because the culture rejected it. This is usually the point where people disagree. Some say we're more advanced now. Others think we're more distracted. Which one do you think is true? Here's what history actually shows. In ancient Egypt, during the Middle Kingdom, workers were paid in grain, beer, and oil. Not because they lacked currency. They had it. But essentials came first, luxuries came second, and debt almost never came at all. The system forced a hierarchy. Survival, then comfort, then status. We reversed that order. Status first, comfort on credit, survival as an afterthought. The Egyptians built monuments that lasted thousands of years. We build credit scores that collapse in months. There's a reason for that. History doesn't show us who became rich. It shows us who stayed in control. In ancient Athens, philosophers like Socrates openly criticized wealth accumulation. Not because they hated money, but because they saw what happened to people who chased it without discipline. The Greeks had a word for it, pleonexia, the insatiable desire to have more. They considered it a disease. We consider it ambition. Most collapses didn't happen because of poverty. They happened because people lost discipline long before they lost money. The Roman Empire didn't fall because it ran out of gold. It fell because inflation destroyed trust, because people stopped believing money had value. The real failure was losing the system that kept people accountable. Ancient people didn't respect money because it made them happy. They respected it because they understood consequences. Spend today, starve tomorrow. Borrow without reason, lose your home. Waste resources, watch your family suffer. The feedback loop was immediate. The lesson was unavoidable. Today, we tried to save money. They tried to save behavior. That's the difference. We think budgeting apps and investment portfolios will fix us. They won't, because the issue isn't tools. The issue is that we've removed every natural consequence that once taught people restraint. Credit cards delay paying. Loans hide costs. Subscriptions make us forget we're spending it all. Ancient people had none of that. And somehow, they were better off. Not because they were smarter, because they couldn't lie to themselves. History has already done its job. It showed us the pattern. The question is no longer what we know. The question is what we keep choosing to ignore. That's why history doesn't repeat itself. Human behavior does.